Hello everyone and welcome to the Auto Club Speedway for the running of the Los Angeles Times 400 at Auto Club, the first day race in the history of this event here in the Sundrop Cup Series and the NSDCA in general. On pole is Jefferson, the HEB number 48 for Texas Star Racing, has done amazingly this weekend. Fastest in practice and pole position. Looking for the clean sweep if he can get it. The first time HEB is sponsoring Jefferson as a primary sponsor in about 3 years since he drove the number 21 truck all that time ago. Since then, it's basically been Lowe's, Cobalt, and Ozarka pretty much on that 48 car for most of the year. And Diego Yepes also picking up a new sponsorship deal with Napa Auto Parts. They'll be on the car for a handful of races this year, with the 77 team from Monster Motorsports looking to get themselves into victory lane today and start their season off right. Dusty Neal and Brady Burkhardt sit in row 2, Larry Hagan and Tib Foster row 3, Logan Cloud and Irving Allison row 4. But one driver we want to point out specifically is Alex Peters in 5th, or I should say in row 5, starting this race in 9th. A decent run in the truck race last night, not too good of a finish in comparison to where he usually is in California. He won the last 2 years, did not win last night as that went to Vince Freeze, but Alex Peters did get a 13th place finish in that event. He starts 9th here in BGM's what was their research and development card, now is full-time with multiple drivers. Alex Peters getting a handful of starts this year for the BGM team, and Jacob Edson rounds out your top 10. One of the hometown heroes, Riley Spurleytube, rolls off 16th in the DuPont Texas Star Racing Dodge. This 28 car went into the wall yesterday in the truck race, at least Spurleytube did for Sauber, but he's looking to be able to bring himself back up in this event, possibly get himself a race win in front of the home crowd. Hasn't won on an oval, I don't think, since Kentucky in season number 2 of the Mountain Dew Custom Series 5 years ago. Maybe today he'll be able to break through in front of the crowd. And another driver who wants to break through in front of the crowd is Daniel Kobza, the part-timer for Anj Auto, full-time in the trucks for Anj Auto. Had a decent run yesterday, but 19th in the Cup car for qualifying. A great run for what is a part-time or a full-time entry this year with multiple drivers. Sebastian Kukulon rolls off 21st, coming off of 2 straight wins to start off the year. Is the only driver to win in the Cup Series this year and leads the points by a commanding 28 points over Diego Yepes, who starts this race in 2nd. Kukulon is the only driver with two top 10s and 2 top 5s, and of course he's the only driver to have wins this year. And Ryan Butcher, another hometown hero from California, he rolls off 22nd for Texas Star Racing, trying to get that car running very well this year. Looking further back, Cody Goforth picks up the Nico Toys sponsorship that the 01 car had last year. A great paint scheme out on that. And Anderson Reed brings Dick's Sporting Goods over in the 3. Carson Bowers, a horrible qualifying session. That's all I can say about it. 3rd in the points so far. He rolls off 31st. It's going to be a long day ahead of him. Going to have to gain himself about 30 spots if he wants to win this race. And you see Luke Evans has made the first start for Team Mirdo this year. They DNQ'd at Daytona and Las Vegas with team owner Benedict Mirdo III. Luke Evans steps in, puts that 34th. William Duncan having a pretty horrible season so far, hoping to turn it around, but it's just growing pains for Ditech, a team that has not gone full-time above the Mountain Dew Custom Series ever in their 5-year career. And the 2 ladies round out the back of the field. Rose Henson in her final year makes her first Cup start, and Lotus Desperito, after DNQing at Las Vegas, is back in the 81 for Luke Evans Incorporated. We're going to go ahead down trackside for the commands to fire the engines here in California. The LA Times 400 about to go green right after this.
Drivers, start your engines!
Pepsi and the NSDCA have teamed up this season to bring you the Pepsi Pole Award for the fastest qualifier in all 26 Sundrop Cup Series races this season. Today it's Jefferson, the fastest man in the NSDCA. 2 championships coming off of him from last season. He gets on pole after being fastest in practice and in qualifying. This 48 team trying to start their season right with a win after they came up so close at Daytona and Vegas. Let's see if Jay has it in him this year to take it home at California. With that, the engines are fired. We're ready to roll off for 75 laps here at the LA Times 400. 40 drivers, again, 75 laps. Fuel window about 21 to 23 laps means you're going to see these guys having to stretch their fuel as much as they can possibly if this race goes green the entire way, which, let's be honest, it probably will not. But there is a possibility if this race does go green, especially with this being a new track to them. They have not driven in a race in the daytime. Practices for the night races were always at night. We did have qualifying, though, in the daytime out here yesterday. So that is how Jay Jefferson and Diego Yepes sat on pole. The greatest of all time battle right there. That's your conversation. Pretty much no one else. Carson Bowers, if he had more wins than just his 2 championships and a couple of wins, could be in that conversation. But it is Jay Jefferson, Diego Yepes. Easily double-digit wins. 3 championships between them. Jay Jefferson, of course, coming off of the Cup and Truck championships. He is out in front with those HEB colors, and nice to see both of the strong drivers in the NSDCA getting new sponsorships, new looks to their cars for this second season of Sundrop Cup Series competition. But you can't count out Dusty Neal, Larry Hagan right behind him. You also can't count out Peter Onjak rolling off 13th, the highest start he's had this season. He won this race last year at under the lights, and he has not had a starting position better than 31st yet, and he's had two top 10 battles to get there. So down the front straightaway, green flags in the air. Jefferson and Yepes lead us down, and we are racing. The LA Times 400 is green at Auto Club. And there is already one car around at the back. Looks like it could be Roger Ray in that AM/PM 84, and it is. No caution is out for it, though. So that is going to be big for Onge Auto's hopes, as Ray already torn up and turned around. It's not going to be too bad for him if he can get maybe a lucky dog later on if they get that car repaired. But up in front, Yepes is going to lead lap number 1, getting that outside line momentum swinging his way. He's going to take the lead away from Jay Jefferson as they head down into turn 1. We already saw some 4 wide immediately on the start of this race, and now there it looks like 2 wide up front, 3 wide a bit further back, but it's going to be Yepes pulling away on the outside line in that number 77 down the back straightaway. Ray's going to continue around, not coming into pit road, so he's probably hoping they're going to either make it last until the first round of pit stops, or he's hoping for an early caution, because we usually see that at Auto Club. This race is so aggressive. The drivers are so aggressive. They're driving at very high speeds. There's not a lot of room for error, because if you do make one mistake, you could send yourself around in front of about 20 cars. And you already see, we said Onjak has not started inside the top 30 yet this year, and he's always been in a top 10 fighting position at the end. He's already up to 5th and charging now as Jefferson's dropping back on the outside. Foster and Hagan 3 wide in front of him, and Onjak now in the middle all the way into the 5th position immediately upon the start of this race as he fights DJ Curtis. Brady Burkhart behind him. What a move by this 44 car, charging already through the field. Has to be one of the biggest movers of the day so far. Jefferson's going to clear himself into 3rd as Foster's clear into 2nd. Curtis trying to get up into 5th, and now you got the rest of them, and there is Kukulon. Started this race 21st. He's already inside the top 10 as well. So you got 2 big movers here as they're 4 wide down the front straightaway. Irving and Neal getting real close up top there. We're going to go ahead out to the wider angle shot from atop the front stretch grandstands, because it'll show you the different lines and the different momentum swings as they come off of turn number 1 and 2, as you see Neal and Spurleytube getting the run on the outside, trying to pull their way beside Kukulon. Is now Carter freezing a bit slower in front of him. That 85 a bit slow there as Cloud's going to dive it in under his driver, Dusty Neal in the 94. Matty Porta getting himself up here as well as we got the battle behind. But up front, top 7 now getting single file. And that 60, Colton Lane having a great time out here. Already moved up pretty much a handful of spots right off the bat. Started this race 18th. He's already inside the top 10, so a lot of big movers here. Onjak, Kukulon, and Lane have picked up a good portion of spots already in these first 5 laps. But if you're Colton Lane, the 61 yesterday with Vince Freeze, why couldn't Lane go back to victory lane with Monster this time instead of North Border Motorsports like they did yesterday with Vince Freeze hanging on at the end of that? And speaking of Vince Freeze, he is in the field today, Johnson Performance. And speaking of Johnson Performance, Bowers and Johnson getting real close together. Carson has picked up a few spots too, already up into the top 20, 28 after starting 31st. But as we were saying, Vince Freeze, he is in that 51. it would be a long shot for him to win this race, but we've seen fuel strategy be key in the truck races, might have it be key in the cup races as well, though he is at the very back, 35th right now, not doing too hot out here at Auto Club. Jefferson now getting the run on Foster. That's for second. Teammate to Jay Jefferson. Larry Hagan right back there on the back of him in fourth. Look at Brandon Morris in the 55 up to fifth. Now Jay and Larry getting a real close together there, but there is the 48. He's going to clear himself into second as Yepes continues to lead. Diego Yepes has won here before in the Truck Series. At Monster Motorsports as well. 3 years ago was the last time he went to victory lane here. So this 77 team possibly could be in a position to win this race again, especially because Auto Club is very equipment heavy. You got a lot of drafting that needs to happen, and cars in the wall at the back. That could be a big one at the rear as multiple cars. Stephen Wallace Jr. is in the wall, Alex Peters is in the wall, and Ryan Butcher, the hometown hero, not going to be shining brightly today. Roger Ray's going to be able to catch back up, but they're going to race their way back around. 7 laps complete out of 75 here at Auto Club, and we're already under our first caution. But second incident of the day, Yepes leads them back around over Jefferson. And now, as we said, cautions could change the fuel strategy immediately. If you have 7 laps under you, you come down, take 4 tires and fuel, or even no tires. We saw a lot of that yesterday at the opening pit stop that came around lap 7 again. So it looks like all the cautions happen about 7 laps into this race. But we'll see how this pit strategy goes for these cup teams as they come down the back straightaway. Roger Ray's going to be able to catch back up. Stephen Wallace Jr. heartbreaking after a decent start to the season at least. It's fallen away from him. Alex Peters started 9th this race, was just dropping. Looks like they had qualifying trim instead of race trim, so they definitely lost a lot of time. And Ryan Butcher, the first race for UPS, was hoping this one would be good. Very damaged up in that number 88 back there. Irving Allison must be waiting for someone to come back around and get by him. Either that or this field's just going to have a bit of an extra gap when they come down pit road. No, Irving's going to catch up now. So here we go. The field's coming down pit road, and we're going to be under caution for the first time today, and we're going to go ahead and let these guys come to the attention of their pit crews and take their 4 tires, fuel, whatever their strategy is going to be. This could affect the rest of the race. We saw it yesterday with Mike Cook and some other drivers coming down on a later caution. Topped off. They could have all made it to the end, especially if it took longer to clean up for the green-white checkered finish. You could have seen a lot more issues on pit road than that. As you see, Jefferson and Yepes almost make contact there getting onto pit road. So we'll see. 2 tires, 4 tires, no tires. Might be some alternate strategies, but it looks like these front guys are all going 4. Irving Allison might have gone 2 in that 16 because he's going to pick up the race lead there. So Irving Allison, the first one out. Jefferson a bit slow on his pit stop in the 48. He's going to lose a bit of time there for Texas Star Racing. You got Onjak, Burkhart about mid-pack, Kukulon as well. So we'll get a quick update there and see what the strategies were here at Auto Club. For some reason, this bigger track has a lot more strategizing on pit road with 2 and 4 tire calls than any other track on the circuit. But we do have Irving Allison now the leader of this event. We'll see how he got into the race lead here in a minute, but we'll also see why we are under caution. Ryan Butcher, Stephen Wallace Jr. going around, and we'll also take a quick look, see what happened to Roger Ray. So Roger Ray's incident was pretty simple. I mean, it was Ryan Butcher who gets into him on this opening restart, basically turns him into the wall. And I think Roger might have to have a little bit of a chuckle there after seeing what happens to Butcher after this, because he's going to meet about the same fate. Ryan Butcher coming down the front straightaway. You're going to see Austin Johnson throws it in on the inside, but SWJ also slows down mid-quarter, kind of stacks them all up together. And Austin Johnson comes flying up. Alex Peters nowhere to go in that 0-1. I wouldn't say Johnson was at fault for this one, but they definitely had a piece of it. You see the 65, though, basically stacks them all up, and Butcher has to be forced to go down, and really just nowhere to go for any of them. Just not enough room. We're under caution for the first time today here at Auto Club. Back live here at the LA Times 400. 1 car slow on the apron back there. It is Rose Henson in the 23. No word on anything, so she might just be coming down. Top off on fuel. You're already at the back, so why not? We'll get an update there as she goes around. But it is Irving Allison up front. Yepes second, Neil third, Hagan fourth, Foster fifth, Morris go fourth, Lane, Benyako, and Curtis are your top 10. As the 23 does come down, it's going to put 2 right sides on that car. So looks like they're just topping off on everything, fuel and tires. But as we go, coming back racing, it'll be 12 of 75 we'll go back racing on. Everyone down pit road took 4 tires except for 7 drivers, 6 of which were Toyotas, or 5 of which were Toyotas, 2 SBR drivers in Jacob Edson and Alex Benyako. That's why you see Benyako up in this top 10. You also have the BGM duo of Goforth and Irving Allison, who took 2 tires. That's why Irving is leading this race now. You also had William Duncan for Ditech picks 2 tires up. He's now about mid-pack back there in the 20th position around there. And then Gatlin Downey and not Alex Parker, it's Eric Monaco in the 07 this weekend for KGM. Those 2 also took 2 tires on pit road. So much less of a difference in the first pit stop than the trucks did. But this race is longer, so maybe you don't want to risk taking a bad strategy early. This early on, because this cup race is 25 laps longer than the truck event. But we'll see what'll happen. We'll see if the 2 tires or the 4 tires were the better strategy to call. But it is Irving Allison out in front. Yepes, Neil, Hagan, and Foster your top 5. So a bit of a shakeup. Jay Jefferson had a pretty slow pit stop. He's now back at the very back of this pack. You see Rose Henson just catching up to the pack. So all 40 cars are going to be right in a line as we go back racing here in California. Green flag's back in the air. Does Irving get off to a good restart? I don't think he does, but we're back racing anyway here at Auto Club. And it's going to be Yepes immediately diving to the inside, and Hagan's going to go as well. Burkhardt a bit further back, but most of the rest of the field looks like they're going to stay single file and follow each other into the corner, but that's when they're going to start making the moves coming out of the corner. Yepes, though, trying to hang on the inside. Irving getting the run back on the outside. Now Hagan jumping to the inside. It's 3 wide for the race lead. Irving's going to clear. Now Foster up the middle in that 40. And you got Morris and Neal fighting back there. Cody Goforth as well, as Hagan's going to try to clear that 21 into second and try to chase down Irving Allison. The top groups separated into their front pack already, and already part of the field is kind of separating already down this front straightaway. But this is where you're going to see the moves. You see Morris already 3 wide. You can see 4 wide, maybe 5 wide, but you don't really want to try to make it work here at Auto Club. It's wide enough for that, though, so we'll see what they can do. As here comes Yepes up the inside now, 2 by 2 up front. Does the inside or outside line carry? The last 2 races, the outside line has been king in both Daytona and Las Vegas, and it looks like it could be here as well, as Irving is hanging on over Yepes, but Foster and Neal pushing the lights out of him on that 16 car as Yepes gets a nose to the inside of the 16. Those 4 tires trying to outpace the 2 that Irving had, and it's going to be Yepes taking that lead away down the front straightaway. So give it back to the Monster Motorsports King, the number 77 of Diego Yepes out in front, as Hagan is right behind him. And as we said, don't go 5 wide. Peter Onjak wants to throw it 5 wide. Almost bounces off of DJ Curtis there. Jefferson on the top 4 wide with Colton Lane now dropping out of it. And here we go down the back. Multiple drivers, multiple lanes. Who's going to pick up these spots? As Curtis is the one losing a ton of time in that 5. So did the 60 of Lane. And Jefferson's going to pick up a few spots right back into this front mix. Clock the 48 back into the top 7. There's Cody Goforth, also took 2 tires under that pit cycle. As Irving's starting to drop back now, and that 16 has lost the spot to Hagan and Morris. And you got Goforth and Foster looking to the inside of him. Goforth took those 2 tires. Wonder if that car's just set up better for that kind of uneven split, uneven tire wear back there. As Benyako went a little low. Looked like Onjak could have thrown it 4 wide again, but we're going to throw it 4 wide as Neal's the one sent up top. There's Curtis. Friesen's going to be the one backing out of it, as Onjak's still trying to make up as many spots as he can, and he's going to get to the inside of Alex Benyako. Might not be able to make the move work, but up in front behind race leader Diego Yepes, it is a scuffle back for second to about 15th. All under a blanket right here. Is now they're 3 wide back there. Hagan and Foster going to pull away. Goforth up in clearing himself into 5th for now, but there's Onjak on the inside. These are the 2 drivers that we said if they're up front early in the race, they could win a ton this year. And Goforth already in 5th, Onjak already in 6th. They're charging their way through the field, as now we have Hagan fighting Morris for 2nd. But the big thing for Morris here is Yepes is in front of him, and it's not a teammate this year. He can race him as hard as he wants, because the bill that goes to the team owner is not to his own team owner, Ryan Butcher at BGM, as these 2 were teammates last year, fought hard for many wins last year, and now here comes the 55 right up to the back, and that Gatorade Lays Toyota in that 2nd position. Hagan, though, throwing his hat in the ring in 3rd. Goforth 4th, and Jay Jefferson's back up here. Jefferson charging hard in that 48 up to 5th. 17 to 75 complete. Now, as we said, the fuel window, 21 to 23 laps. If you came in on that lap 8 pit stop, which everyone did, you're going to be able to make it to about lap 30. So we got another 13 laps before we'll see these guys having to come down pit road again and get some tires and some fuel in those cars. But you got to make sure that you get as much fuel as you can in these cars, especially for the end of the race, because we saw yesterday Mike Cook could have probably won that race if they filled that number 81 with more fuel in that truck than just a splash and go on that final pit stop to gain track position. He could have won that race, but instead he ended up finishing outside of the top 30. Jefferson has cleared himself into third, now attacking the 55 for second. Here are some of the big, two of the big three there. Onjak's a bit further back, but you also had Tib Foster, Diego Yepes, and one other driver that I forget who it was in the fight for the title last year, with those 6 taking the majority of the wins last year. I forget who was the other. Brady Burkhart would have been the other one in the 99, and he's also up here. So you got all of the best, the big 6 from last year, up in this fight with Yepes, Jefferson, and Morris. First, second, and third. Onjak fighting in fifth. Burkhart and Foster just inside or outside of the top 10. In Burkhart's case, who's sitting right now 12th alongside his teammate, Sebastian Kukulon. But this front pack right here, you're basically looking possibly at what the chase could be. Is there's some smoke down in turn 1. Could have been Butcher, SWJ. It looks like Jacob Edson in the 82 has gone around. We got to check, though. What is Butcher's top speed down this front straightaway? So 182 into the corner for SWJ, 179 for Ryan Butcher. So we're going to have to see what these lead drivers are running. Hopefully not in the draft, but we'll have to see, because it's a 20-mile-per-hour difference as they come down the front straightaway at the end of the track, to see if these guys will be able to be back on the racetrack. So as they hit the corner, 198... So 178 would be the max. So Butcher is just hitting minimum speed in that 81, or 88 just barely. Stephen Wallace Jr. is good, but Butcher, they're going to have to watch on this 88 car, as he is very far off the pace in that damaged car. But if he hits 178 again, there's nothing we can do, and that he will. So that 88 car is good and clear with the NSDCA to make it to the end of this event, at least for now. But we got a battle fighting up front, as Yepes, his old car, and Cody Goforth 17 is now taking the fight to the front. We're going to go 4 wide for the race lead. Yepes on the outside, Morris, Goforth, and Jefferson on the bottom. Now they're going to slide back into 3 wide, but they are going for it, as Jefferson's going to throw it in the 48. He's going to blow right by all 3 drivers and take the lead away in that 48 car, 21 laps into this one, and put Jay Jefferson on the top of the scoring pylon. He's out in front with a big daring move from 4th to 1st in turn 1. And Goforth is clear into 3rd. He's gotten around his teammate Morris. Morris now fighting back on the outside, side by side with Hagan, Onjak, Foster. So the Dodge is starting to catch up. There's Kukulon in there in that 19. So if they're going to have to stop Sebastian Kukulon, this would have to be the race. Or if he wins another one, he could just win all the races in the season. What a dominant performance we've seen this year. And there he is. He's fighting in the 9th position so far as the top 8 pull away. Looking a bit further back into this pack, there you see Zachary DeLello, Logan Cloud catching back up. There's Dusty Neal in the 94. Spurley Tube fighting Strigley for a spot back there. Carson Bowers started this race 31st. He's picked it up to 20th, so slowly but surely this Angiato 25 is moving through the field. You also got Daniel Cobbs back there about where he started. A couple other drivers moving through the field. Doesn't look like the 2 tires are working out for Duncan so far. He's 29th. Lotus Disburrito picked herself up to 31st, so a bit of a gain through this race. The 03 and 23 at the tail end of the pack. Alex Peters, yeah, Edson is very torn up in that 82, so he must have been in an incident down there in turn number 1 where we saw all the smoke. But again, Butcher, he has met minimum speed. They can't do anything about it now. It's 20 miles per hour difference at the end of the straightaway, so because top speed's probably what matters real more, because you can still corner with a damaged car, but you can't really hit the top speed down the straightaways, and you could stack everyone up. So that could be good for Jay Jefferson. That's one of his drivers, the TSR drivers, that would be a lap car that he could use to help get a pick coming down the front straightaway here, and try to extend his race lead. Peter Onjak into 6th. Let's talk about Peter real quick. Again, we said horrible qualifying starts, but he's had great finishes so far, and he started this race 13th. He's up in 6th early on instead of fighting for 6th when the leaders are 4 or 5 seconds up. This could be a race he wins. He won it last year in the night, and he is saying on the radio that these tire temperatures, the setups from the night, are not handling as well as they did at night here in the daytime. of California, so they're going to have to make some tweaks on the car on this next pit stop, try to get him to run just a bit better. As you see the battle for the top three starting to rage, as it looks like they're going to go 3 wide down the front straightaway again. A Dodge, a Chevy, and a Toyota. We're just missing the Ford, which are back about 25th right now, but it is 3 cars fighting for this win. Goforth is going to drop back, though, kind of keep it conservative on the inside, and that's going to allow Yepes to get the run in that 77 right up to the front, but will Jay be able to get his nose back up there? No, Diego's going to throw a block. Real dangerous between the two. Almost made contact there. Might have made Jefferson have to get off the throttle a little bit, as he's not going to be able to get by Yepes. And we are now 1/3 of the way through this event, and it's Diego Yepes, the king of the intermediates, back on the top of the charts in that 77. Jefferson second, Morris third, Goforth fourth, and Larry Hagan doing a great job in fifth. Tim Foster in seventh. 2 drivers who aren't really good on the ovals. Foster has wins on the ovals, short track wins at Iowa, and super speedway wins at Daytona, but nothing really on the intermediates, especially a track like Auto Club. So it's a great run so far for both of those drivers up inside this field, and it really looked like we were under caution there. They were just running single file. They are not. They're still fighting for those spots back there. There's Brady Burkhart and Sebastian Kukulon for Shade Burkhart Racing, moving their way back into the top 10, possibly top 5 if they can make it, as Jefferson's on the inside of Yepes. 26 to 75, we're coming up to pit stops just shortly here at Auto Club. We're going to go ahead, take a quick commercial break, bring guys back to the action for pit stops here, hopefully under a green flag conditions here at the LA Times 400.
Hey, Clint boy, you're a super famous race car guy.
How's it going?
I'm kind of busy here.
We're all busy people, Clint, but we all gotta eat. Hamburger helper?
Man, is that cheeseburger, Mac?
Ooh, delish in the dish.
That's some good stuff. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where you going to that?
Fast and easy, and we do like fast.
High five, little hand guy.
Hey, that's my face, man. Hamburger helper. 1 pound, 1 pan, 1 tasty meal.
Back live here at Auto Club as Jay Jefferson just made a daring move on the outside of Diego Yepes. And now you see back there in 5th is the 19 of Kukulon, who's won 2 races so far this season. Looking for win number 3 and race number 3 if he can get it done in that 19 car. Hagan fighting him for that 5th spot, but Kukulon has made the charge from 21st to 5th in these 29 laps and probably could win this race if he so dares to make a few big moves on this 48-77 up front. And really, if you're looking at it, Kukulon should not have won the race last week at Las Vegas if the caution did not come out and trap Jay Jefferson a lap down. With everyone still having to come pit, Jefferson was clear to set sail for that win. Of course, the caution came out, the back markers decided it, and that they decided that it wouldn't be Jefferson winning that race. There is Yepes out in front, but you just saw the flash of Ryan Butcher in that 88, Stephen Wells Jr. in the 65, both cars up to speed, minimum speed of the NSDCA's rules and regulations. You see Kukulon is now into 3rd, so you got the big 3 right here. Yepes has been a big threat this year in these races. So has Jefferson, but it's been Kukulon in both of them. And now you got the big 3, 1, 2, 3 for Monster Motorsports, TSR, and SBR. And pretty much you got one driver from each of the top teams here as well. You got BGM back there, and you got Anjado also sitting in the wings with a bunch of Monster Motorsports drivers catching up. As now Butcher is going to hold him up. Jefferson's going to give him a shot, puts the 81 and 88 in the wall, and Jefferson's going to go around off the front or off the back of Butcher, and we are under caution for the 2nd time today right before pit stops. Cody Goforth coming into a closed pit. The field's got to scatter around Butcher, and impatience with the lappers will cost Jay Jefferson his chance at this race win, probably. And like every year, last year it was a big story that he just kept hitting the lappers. A couple guys down pit road, Irving Allison, Benyako, so we'll see who's going to get the wave around, who's going to get the lucky dog. And it looks like the lucky dog will possibly go... Well, no, it would go to Ryan Butcher, but he just crashed out because he was the first car lap down. So I think the 07, 47, 69 are going to have to do a wave around, as now Sebastian Kukulon sits in the race lead, and I cannot believe that teammates just collided. And I'm sure someone in the garage area is going to be joining Tim Foster in that battle against the NSDCA minimum speed policy. And now, that is not good for Jay Jefferson, who just got in a big one. Irving Allison gets back on the lead lap. Jay's still in this race. He's very far back. They're probably going to have to patch up the hood. It didn't look like he got too much damage, but you don't know what could have went wrong under the hood of that car. And now the whole field's jumbled up because about half the field was stuck behind that incident and had to slow down and maneuver their way through it. So I expect 4 tires and fuel. There's no reason to go for 2 tires. You got 32 laps on them, or 20 laps on them. So this should be a 4-tire call for everyone. We're looking at Sebastian Kukulon as they go to work on that number 19, going to drop the jack, and he's going to have his chance to come on out. But that could be the second week, the third week in a row that lappers could have decided the race win in the Sundrop Cup Series. But also, that is yet another controversy for the minimum speed rule, and Butcher was making it, but he was just barely making it. But we do have it where it's 20 miles per hour damaged, and he wasn't horribly slow. It still took him about 20 laps to catch him, but Jay just caught him at the wrong time, put it right to the inside, and made some damage. You see the 48, they just tried to hammer the hood down on that car. As long as he doesn't end up running into anyone on as they come back up to speed. Looks like Peter Onjak lost some time there, so we're going to go ahead, rack them back up. A lot of these guys are lappers. We'll see how the running order stands after this, but it looks like Kukulon was the first one off pit road. We'll see what this running order looks like when we come back after this replay of what could be one of the most controversial moments in Auto Club history. This is going to be an awkward Monday meeting. Ryan Butcher involved in that opening incident. Jay's just going to go right into him, right through the back of him, turns him into the outside wall. Maybe he just misjudged how slow he was, but either way, Jay not too happy after that one. On board with Jay, who was with the visor cam this week in the 48 car, and Butcher just really is just up there, and Jay, you know, it's been a long time coming with those lap cars. Jay always finds a way to get into contact with him, and this time he goes around. He gets to continue. Butcher does not, though. We're under caution for the second time today. 2 TSR drivers tangling up in front here at California.
Your eyes have bags. Tungus help.
Thank you.
Tungus digits. You call.
Maybe I will. I'm actually so glad you gave this to me because I was feeling so sad. Jeff stopped texting me and I was like, whatever. And then he didn't answer me, so I texted again, which Sarah said you were not supposed to do.
Tungus gotta go.
Caffeine up. It's High Voltage Fest at AM PM. Too much good stuff.
Tungus!
Lights on the pace car go out. We're about halfway through this event. Coming up on halfway, we're still going to have about 40 laps to go. Cody Goforth, your race leader. Sebastian Kukulon second. Irving Allison third. Morris fourth. Yepes fifth. Hagen sixth. Joseph Strigley shoots his way up to seventh, and that's 63 after all that confusion. Porta eighth. Bowers ninth. And Max Anderson is up to 10th. Looking a bit further back, Vince Freeze 12th, but your big hitters of this race, Tib Foster back to 17th. DJ Curtis back to 24th, Onjak 26th, and Jay Jefferson 30th. They tried to hammer down the hood as much as they could. Still some bent-in sheet metal on the front of that. There you see right there, Ben Yako on back. Parker instead elected to take the wave around instead of the lucky dog because if he was the lucky dog, he would start at the tail end of the field, but they were all in front of the pace car, so they all got their lap back. So there was no lucky dog, or I should say Fago free pass there in this event. The lucky dog is from another universe. Cody Goforth out in front. Kukulon second. Irving Allison third. Morris fourth. Yepes fifth. That is now 4 Toyotas up front, 3 BGM, only 1 SBR. So again, you gotta ask, is Shade Burkhardt Racing the real Toyota powerhouse? Kukulon has 2 wins, but it is Yepes. It is everyone else pretty much that's been contenders, though Edson is 4th in points in that 82 car. So right now they're even in the point standings, but this could be a California man race with Goforth, Irving Allison, and Morris all in the top 5 for the California-based team. Goforth's going to lead us down. Can anyone stop Kukulon, who's already up to 2nd? A poor restart for him is going to bring us back to green, and we're racing again, 35-75, 40 to go next time by. Goforth's going to get the jump. He's out by a good margin as Morris is going to pick that 55 up on the inside. Here they come off the corner as they start to hit that near 200-mile-per-hour mark. Burkhart on Jack already making moves further back. So the drivers who were kind of screwed on pit road and kind of screwed behind that caution are now fighting up front as Kukulon might have just got a bumper to the back of him by the 55 of Morris, making that move to second, and he's going to take the spot away. Hagen's already up into fourth. Yepes back in sixth. Strigley trying to hang on to a top 10. There's Neal, Max Anderson. They're all making moves. But you got Zachary DeLello on Jack trying to make as many moves as he can. And 5 wide down the front straightaway at the back here. Edson trying to pick up as many spots as he can. Looks like that inside line's going to back out of it. Rose and Downey almost make contact. Luke Evans holding him up. Ben Yako up the middle. And there's all your rave around drivers at the back fighting for those spots as they try to work past the slower cars, the 65, the 03, as we got a battle for the race lead. Kukulon all over the back at Goforth. Cody Goforth has never won a race in the NSDCA. This is the year. If he's going to do it, it's in one of the best cars in the field. Yepes went to 3 wins last year with it for BGM. BGM has a ton of wins in the Cup Series already. It's just this 17 driver that has to make it work. He had North Border Motorsports equipment last year. Brought that to 6th in the standings with 0 wins. He can do that and a lot more, even fight for a championship this year if he has enough confidence to make those moves at the end of the race and get aggressive, get his elbows out, because that's how you're going to win in this series, is you got to be up there at the end and you got to make those moves. You see Morris dive it to the inside of the 19, looking for that second position. Monster Motorsports really improving this year. You see Porta now up there with Diego Yepes, but look at Carson Bowers in that 25 now. Started this race 31st. He's inside the top 10. Right now leading the charge for Anjato as Kukulon's going to go at it with the race leader. Strigley is going to go to the inside of Bowers. Not going to be able to get there. This is a big track for Strigley too. More of a power-based track, so if he can hang on up front, that just shows how good that 63 car is this year as he's still hanging on inside the top 10 for the Xylem JSR Chevy. Yesterday's event in the Truck Series only had 1 DNF. That was the TSR number 8 of Eli Bright due to an engine issue. Today, so far, it's only the TSR 88 of Ryan Butcher due to that last incident. So we'll see if this will be another cleaner Auto Club event. You got Dusty Neal, Carter Friesen, Max Anderson back here. And Max Anderson, another driver who's kind of charged his way through the field using some of the other drivers' misfortunes to get himself towards the front. He sits right now inside the top 15, fighting for 13th. That's going to be 12th as he passes Carter Friesen, who really parked the bus coming off the corner. Max Anderson up in 12th, leading this Ford charge. Really is the only Ford driver this year worth anything. Gatlin Downey has not shown much pace at all in that 69 car. He's 31st entering this. Max Anderson's not too much better in 25th, but you don't have any other Fords. You have the 12 and the 69, and I'm pretty sure that's it. I know there's one other team. There's one part-time team that's a Ford. We're going to go searching for it real quick. I don't know if they're in this race or not, but I know Ford just is not what it used to be in the NSDCA. When Zachary Racing was running these cars week in and week out, Alex Peters is pretty much the only driver to win in a Ford other than Priya McShane in the last 2 years. So Ford's just hoping for a rebrand, and if not, we are afraid to see his 2 cars are in the wall at the back. We'll hold that Ford sadness for a second. His 2 cars in it. It's Eli Bright and William Duncan, and a season goes from bad to worse for both drivers. And Bright is entering this race with 2 points total, and I think he's only going to get 1 more today. And William Duncan, heartbreaking to see that 33 so damaged up for Ditech as the Toyotas are leading this event. He's not going to be too happy on the radio in that one. Going to have about 35 laps to go this time by, so 2 more cars torn up. Good thing is, it's minor incidents so far. Jay Jefferson in the 48, I think he's 26th. He hasn't gained much. Neither is Onjack. Onjack up to 21st. So those guys are going to have to charge through the field much quicker if they want to. But as they come around here, 35 laps to go. You pit here, you got to make 1 more pit stop. If you stay out, you still got to make 1 more pit stop. This pretty much, this right here, if anyone comes in, you're pretty much just saying, this is an alternate strategy. We're going to go for it. And it looks like 1 driver is going to go for it. Maybe a handful. That is the red car. That's Lotus Disparito in the 81. You got the 23 of Rose Henson and some of the back markers and the damage cars. So it looks like, you know, may as well top it off. You're still running sub-20s outside the top 30, so they're going to dive it on in and try to get as much as they can in those cars. 6 cars down pit road. 4 tires and fuel. You don't know how this could be. If this race goes green to the end, it could be an alternate strategy that could pay off, gain you some track position. Who knows right now if we do see that green flag racing. In the truck race yesterday, we saw green flag pit stops before the halfway point. As they stand right now, the only time we were close to getting 2 green flag pit stops was before the J. Jefferson Ryan Butcher incident. And I'm sure if those lap cars weren't there, we probably could have seen that go green, possibly for the rest of the race. Once these guys get spread out, they usually don't get together too often. But looks like that was a quick one, so the NSDCA is going to enforce a quickie yellow, as only these 6 did come down pit road, so we will go ahead, get you guys back to the action shortly, but we got to take a replay, see what happened to Duncan and Bright to make their horrible seasons go even worse. This crash actually happens a bit further back, though. As you see, Distant Burrito kind of stacked up this whole group of red and white cars. And you can see Benyako catch up, and he's going to kind of push Murray through. So that middle line's the one that's going to start to try to go. But then they hit the corner. You're going to see Jay on the bottom kind of forces Murray to go a bit higher, and they're going to hook into Duncan, and just a big hit rear-ending both of those cars. And Murray just came up right into the back of the 33, turned him and Bright into the wall. 2 more cars damaged here in California today.
Many people ask me, Snoop Dogg, how come you always so happy? It's fairly simple. I believe the small things are the most meaningful. The small thing. So this holiday season, I simply enjoy fresh sparkling water with a nearly extinct friend. Think small, baby.
Love you, brother.
By the way, 1 SodaStream bottle can save...
I don't know, thousands?
Yeah, thousands of single-use plastic bottles. So who's thinking small now? Gotcha. I just saved the planet.
Back live here at Auto Club pretty quickly after that incident. As we said, the NSDCA has a rule for a what is called a quickie yellow, as where if the crash was not bad, if they were able to clean it up quickly enough, and that little or no people came down pit road, they will take about a lap or 2 off the pace laps, try to get this back to green flag racing as soon as possible. And in the case of green, white, checkered finishes, pretty much every incident is a quickie yellow, where they will try to get the field stacked up and racked back up to restart the race as quick as possible. So it is Cody Goforth in the race lead, who led during that little short stint. Now, these guys came in about 7-8 laps ago, so they're going to have to come in probably within the lap 60 range. So with about 15 to go is when you're going to start seeing these guys all coming down pit road. But the bottom 6 back there, including Duncan, Peters, Luke Evans, Rose Henson, Eli Bright, and Lotus Disparito. Those 4 are slower on the pace for some reason. And there's a problem on the 23. I don't know what it is for the 23 car, but it looks like she is slow on the apron. We'll see what happened to Rose Henson there, but we're going back racing here at Auto Club. And we're going to go ahead. It's going to be Goforth, Morris, Kukulon, Yepes, Porta leading them down. Green flags back in the air. We're back racing at Auto Club once again. Kukulon's going to be the one to jump down, already taking that second spot away from Morris, as Morris did not get going on that restart, it doesn't look like, or at least through turn number 1, he does not get going. Down the back straightaway, the field once again going to climb their way up to that 200-mile-per-hour range that you'll see as they hit down this back straightaway, especially in the draft. Speeds hit very high. Rose Henson down pit road. She's bringing that 23 back around. Cody Goforth out in front so far, trying to win this race for Butcher Gatorade Motorsports. Again, has never won in any of the top 3 divisions. His lone win coming at Memphis for Ford Performance Racing in the Red Bull Short Track Showdown Series about 4 years ago. Ever since then, it's been winless. Trying to break that today, get himself into victory lane. And he's going to have to beat probably the best to do it this year, Sebastian Kukulon. 2 races in, 2 wins. No one's defeated him yet. And will they now? As there is Rose Henson coming back off of pit road. So she's up to speed. She did not hit pit road because of damage, so there's no damage vehicle policy that we have to worry about for that 23 car. But she is going to be off the pace at probably might even mess with these race leaders if we see how the lappers have done today. So Rose Henson will have to get herself back into the pack. Hagen back there in 6th, Bowers 8th, Strigley hanging on to 9th. Battle for 10th is starting to heat up between Irving Allison, Burkhart, Neal, and Spurleytube. That's all that battle is. They are 5 wide, 4 wide once again. Maybe it's just the angle that we see 5 wide, but they were pretty much running 5 different lanes coming into the corner, whether they were side by side or not. And that's Curtis, Foster, Benyako, Onjak, all trying to climb their way back to the front. Even Jefferson, we said he has damage. You can see it there, but he's still going to try to at least salvage something out of today's event. And there you see Henson now getting passed by the front group, so that 23 car not handling well so far. And it looks like that's going to be her probably just going 1 lap down, I think. But either way, now she sits in the Fago free pass position in that 23 car. So as long as no one else doesn't fall down a lap and she gets a quick caution, she could be back on the lead lap in this event. Top 3 are Toyotas. Haven't seen that in a while. At least last season, we definitely did not see that. The Toyota camp was pretty much Yepes, Morris, and Burkhart, but they were never really fighting each other for wins. They were usually fighting some of the Dodges, and this year, if Dodge does not have the power to fight up front, that could be interesting. With 3 Toyotas, 2 Chevys up front, you got a 3rd Chevy in Colton Lane making a move past Larry Hagen, 2 of your 1-win wonders from last year. You also got the Chevy of Strigley up here, so there's your Dodges now sitting near the back of that one. Reed is trying to go with Burkhart as they're 3 wide now, just outside the top 10. Looks like about 11th to 20th in this little pack right here. And you also got some of those guys that fell back on pit stops. Tib Foster, Logan Cloud, Peter Onjak, DJ Curtis, Alex Benyako there. Jefferson working that outside line as best as he can. Not going to win this race in the 48. For sure, he does not have the pace with that damaged car, but he could still salvage at least a top 20 finish today for that 48 team. Morris on the inside of Kukul on that side-by-side for 2nd. And he's going to get it done for BGM. So it's a BGM 1-2 with SBR in 3 and Monster Motorsports 4 and 5. With a Henson Racing car in 6th, but that's only 6th in line for that State Farm 23. Lane has cleared himself into 6th. Larry Hagen 7th. Spurleytube 8th. Irving Allison takes 9th away from Bowers and Strigley, and Bowers holds 10th for now, just over Joseph Strigley as that pack starts to go at it. It looks like Strigley's car is starting to fade already. There's the battle for 9th eaten up between Bowers and Irving Allison as Strigley's dropped back into this pack. And you got a ton of hungry drivers still to go and try to get around him. Anderson Reed hasn't really been up front all day. This could be his chance to do so. If we see this race go green to the end, this could be a very interesting one with some fuel strategy there. But right now it is all Cody Goforth out in front for this team as they come across the line. 26 laps to go, so still at least one more fuel run for all of these drivers. Still a long way to go in this event. You are not home free yet to write off this race for a win for anyone, because we still have so much to worry about. Cody Goforth out in front. We'll go ahead and go through the field shortly. Cody Goforth did play a bit of a different strategy. Came down pit road as soon as the caution was called. Now, in the NSDCA, there's really nothing to say about the pit road being closed under caution. Because we just don't enforce that. If you come down then, usually they don't, but Goforth was already committed as he was coming around. So Goforth was able to take the race lead away because of that incident and came down pit road at the right time and is your race leader. Morris in 2nd in this 55 car. He's been up front all day. I don't think he has a lap lead yet, but he has been consistent. He's been confident, and he's been pretty fast. These BGM Toyotas are outpacing SBRs just slightly, at least in terms of Sebastian Kukulon, but Morris thinks he can get himself a win today and possibly get his 3rd career win in the NSDCA. Sebastian Kukulon, your 2-time winner so far this year, is going to be the race winner probably, depending on how pit stops go. SBR's pit crews have been fast all of their career, and we'll have to see if this 19 car can do so. We talk a lot about the SBR plate program, and it did win. As you see, they're going to go 3 wide here, but this track races basically like a super speedway as well. The first 3 races are all super speedway tracks. Las Vegas was fast and momentum based. This is draft based, and super speedway of Daytona was a super speedway track. So you got Kukulon up there in 2nd in that 19, right now chasing down the rest of the field, tracing ahead of the rest of the field. Only has 1 more car to go as they've worked past Cody Goforth. Yepes dominated the race early on in this event. He's right now battling for 2nd with Kukulon and Goforth, and Monster Motorsports has not won in the Cup Series in a good while. It was Colton Lane, the last winner of that race. They only won 2 races last year with with Colton Lane at Road America and Carter Friesen at Atlanta. DJ Curtis went winless. Now Yepes is back on his own team for the first time in I think about 3 years. He's going, or 2 years at least. He's going full-time at Monster Motorsports, and he's already showing that he has the pace, he has the potential to win again. He's fighting for this second position. The Italian Stallion, Amati Porta, in that number 20, made the move to Monster Motorsports over the offseason, hoping for greener pastures than the Sauber Racing team. He is up here in 5th. He's been a threat to win every race so far this season, but of course that incident with his tire going down at Las Vegas pretty much cost him all chance he had of running up in front. He's been in the top 10 all race long, right now running in the 5th position, chasing down the 3 Toyotas and his team boss Diego Yepes. We'll see what Porta can do when these pit stops come. If they do come under green, he could still be a threat to win this race. Colton Lane back in 6th. There's Henson, but Bowers is 7th, Spurley 8th, Burkhart 9th, and Hagan now fights Tib Foster for 10th. Tib restarted this race about 20th on that last restart. He's charged his way through about half the field so far, passing the guys like Joseph Strigley, Anderson Reed, Irving Allison in the process as he works to the inside of Burkhart. Not going to happen there. Looked like Brady slammed the door, but we see one car coming down pit road. That is DJ Curtis bringing that car down. So is Irving Allison, Jefferson, Johnson, Kobza. So with 20 laps to go, the fuel window opens right here. Cody Goforth in as well. The fuel window opens right here. But just like yesterday, if this thing goes into a green-white checkered finish, you could see all 6 or 7 of these guys run out of fuel. But what you got to do is 4 tires and fuel. You do not go for 2 with 20 laps to go. Your tires would be shot by the end of the race. Now we got to see when these front guys come in. Goforth came in pretty much a lap ahead of some of these guys. Looks like Morris is on the bottom. Kukul and Yepes are on the bottom. Porta's down there as well. It looks like the majority of the field is going to bring it on in. We're going to keep the camera right there as Cloud and Neal are going to be the 2 staying out. So will Disparito. But it looks like the majority of the field there. You see Luke Evans staying out in the 03. Why does it look like we're missing like a good part of the field there? It looked like there was more cars than this coming in. Maybe it was just my eyes deceiving me, but we do have a ton of damaged cars. So that group's going to come on in. Alex Peters. Well, he's at 188, so he's fast enough to continue on, but he was getting blown by Alex Mignacco. And there's Goforth. That would be your race leader as they cycle out, or at least from that opening group. There is your actual race leader now. Logan Cloud led that last lap with Dusty Neal. Now these 2 are going to come on in. Looks like they're going to bring Lotus Disparito in as well. Luke Evans probably will come in as well. There's Mignacco, the rest of them. Alex Peters will have to come in too. He's stuck staying out, so Alex Peters might pick up a lap. No! It's going to be the 03? Oh, no, it's not going to be the 03. That's heartbreaking for Luke Evans Incorporated. Lotus Disparito is going to keep herself on the race lead, so she will lead a lap, just like Mike Cook did yesterday, so they're trying the alternate strategy again. But I thought it was going to be Team Mirdo and Luke Evans in the 03 leading that lap. He will not as Disparito stays out. Now they got to watch, though, because you got faster cars below you. You do not want to cut them off coming down to pit road. And it looks like that's going to slow up Morris because he does not know what Disparito's doing, and that's going to slow him up. Goforth's going to get by him. And there you see Luke Evans in 2nd, so the 81 and 06 possibly trying to do what Mike Cook did yesterday. Maybe, just maybe, they could catch a caution. Only 3 cars have stayed out so far. I think the 01 might have just came in, and Alex Peters, it looks like oh no, Alex Peters staying out, so the top 3 have stayed out. So is Rose Henson. She's up in 7th. But it is Lotus Disparito right now, your race leader for Luke Evans Incorporated. And it looks like they're just going the same strategy as yesterday because it was going to work. As I said, he was going to get a top 10 finish if he had enough fuel to the end, if they fueled the car up. So Disparito, Luke Evans, and Alex Peters are trying to last the fuel as long as they can and possibly catch a caution. William Duncan also stayed out, and Rose Henson is the only other one not to come in during this cycle of pit stops so far, as we're coming down to 16 laps to go next time by. Wow, what would it be? This is a career weekend for Luke Evans Incorporated. If nothing else happens this season, they can surely say they led both the Cup event and Truck event at California at the Auto Club Speedway. And I don't know, the Truck event might have been more on pace because Mike Cook was really up there after pit stops. But Disparito, this is definitely all strategy as she's out in front trying to hang on over Morrison. This 55 just cannot get around her. I don't know what's up with Morris there. As you see, there is Henson. She's at the tail end of the lead lap. Goforth now has unlapped himself. Morris and Kukulon also have. So what you're looking at here As we said, if a caution comes out, you have the wave around rule, which would probably need to be in effect for all these drivers to get back on the lead lap as they run right now. Or they just wait for Disparito, Evans, and Peters to come down pit road. There is Disparito out in front. There's Luke Evans in second. And there's that's not even Alex Peters at the top of your screen there. Evans, you see only 190 into the corners, 197. So 7 mile per hour difference just being on newer tires, or older tires than everyone else. Is Disparito now. They're struggling out there. They came down under that last caution, which is why they can run just slightly longer, but I think these are the only 3 that stayed on it. 7 came down under that last caution, I'm pretty sure, including Jay Jefferson, but I think Jay already came in, so they know that this pit strategy might not work, and that's the problem here, but as this race comes to an end, anything can still happen. It looks like Goforth would be the one picking up the race lead when this all cycles out. Morris second, Kukulon third, Bowers and Porta your top 5. We're looking back. There's the 03, and has Alex Peters come in yet? Peters is at the tail end of that pack, so he's just trying to hang on, and those cars definitely slower without the tires. William Duncan also trying to stay out. There's nothing you can really do as that 33. You just got to run an alternate strategy and hope that maybe you can get to the end as well. But it is all loaded. That's Rose Henson. It is all Lotus Disparito out in front. What a great run we're seeing here for the Uniqlo 81. You got Rose Henson now in the fight with Porta and Bowers as she's trying to get her spot in line back in that 23. I'm pretty sure she's trying to stay on the lead lap in that 23 car in case they do have to come down pit road, or if a caution comes out. If a caution comes out, this whole thing's jumbled up, and this new system for the NSDCA and talking about these pit strategies and getting your lap back and all that, that will definitely come into play here as Disparito doesn't want to lose all her momentum, trying to go 3 wide on Henson and Porta here. Henson is still dropping time, so it looks like Henson's about to lose the lap. Porta's going to lose it again as Yepes is going to get by him. There's Benyako now in this. Alex Benyako, another driver, is... Whoa! These two almost made a caution come out. You don't want to be the one calling the caution, especially if you're a lap down. That could screw your entire day. But as we said, if a caution does indeed come out, as these guys are real aggressive, getting into 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Everyone's on everyone else's bumper. I am just hoping we see this go green, but if we're thinking about this, I don't think Disparito, they can't make it to the end of the race. Let's be real here. The 81, 03, 01 cannot make it to the end of this race. I know that for a fact. I know we were talking yesterday, all the drivers made it to the end of the race. You cannot save about 8 laps. That's 16 miles here. You cannot save 16 miles of fuel at race pace, especially if you're running out here. Even though you're slow, it's because the tires are absolutely shot on this 81 car and the 03. But they're still staying out. They are trucking along in these cars, and they're trying to do what they can in this race. Give a shout out, Team Mirdo. They could say they were second in an event, running second in an event in the Cup Series, and only their first career actual start. And it looks like there is Disparito coming in, so the dream goes away from both of these drivers. Disparito is going to bring that 81 down to pit road. The 03 is bringing it down to pit road, so with about 10 laps to go, or I should say 11 laps to go, they all bring it on in. I think, though, Alex Peters, let's go look for that 01 as they're running right now. No, Peters already came in, so did Duncan. So this right here will hook the lead over to the battle for the race lead, which is Morris, Goforth, and Kukulon. It's going to be a 3-horse race for the win, possibly. I didn't even realize the 55 and 19 caught up to the 17 that quickly, but we have 3 cars fighting for this win. Also, I want to point out the 23 of Henson is still on the lead lap because she has not pitted yet. So if a caution does come out, she could be rolling in it. Lotus Disparito and the 03, they're going to have fresher tires. There's no way they can catch up like 13, 14 seconds even. There's no way they're going to do that, but I think they can still come out with the top 20, but there's the big pack, so never mind on the 81. She's going to come out basically right in front of this whole thing, so she's going to have to fight a ton of cars and hopefully not crash any of them, as Onjak's going to soar on by there in that 44, going to pick up that spot. So now you're looking, Disparito's picked up some spots. She's ahead of a ton of drivers. The 03, 01, 33 are not. But there's the battle for the win. It's Kukulon in third, Morris second, and Goforth, your top 3. And only one of these drivers does not have a Cup Series win, and that is Cody Goforth, who has pretty much been unstoppable when he's gotten into the race lead today in that 17 car. Yepes is 4th, Bowers 5th, Porta in 6th, Benyako 7th, Neal 8th, Curtis 9th, Colton Lane 10th. Foster up in 12th. Anderson Reed is recovered. Austin Johnson as well. On Jack back in 18th. Heartbreaking to see there. There is Disparito, merged herself back into 22nd. So she's going to pick up a couple spots if she can hang on. The rest of them pretty much were damaged or something. There's Henson now down pit road. The slower car of the 65. So it's Goforth, Morris, and Kukulon. Your top three as they run through the corner. Now SWJ is going to hold up Kukulon, so Stephen Wallace Jr. could be playing for the fans right here, holding up what could be a 3-time winner to start the first 3 races off if he holds up that 19 enough. SWJ now, as the 23 goes down a lap as she came in, so it's going to be the 23 versus the 65 for the free pass if we do indeed get another caution in this event, which we hope that we won't. But remember, these guys pit with about 20 laps to go. The fuel window's 21 to 23. A green-white checkered kills them, just like they did yesterday. At least it could, but we'll see what the strategy is here. The top 3 are gone, though. The top 3 Toyotas are gone. It's all the way back here. Just entering turn 1 now is Yepes in 4th. Carson Bowers, who's recovered greatly from 31st up to the 5th position. Porta Benyako, and then there is the battle back there between CFRO, TSR, Anjado, SBR, Monster, all of the bigger name teams fighting back there. You got a few of the other teams back there as well. Great run by Vince Freeze. Could get 2 top 20s if he can hang on over the rest of this pack back here in that 51. Won the race yesterday in the Truck Series. Now is fighting Strigley DeLello for a bit of a Chevy brawl back there just outside of the top 20, and there's going to be your caution right there if it hits. Max Anderson into the outside wall, sliding back down the track. Caution is out, just barely missed by Jay Jefferson. And as we said, if a caution comes out, it changes everything. And right as we look at it, Disparito turns the 12, gets her caution a bit late, and the top 3's lead is gone. And it will be Stephen Wallace Jr. in the 65 will get his lap back as they run around, but it is Cody Goforth now. Probably going to be about a 2-lap dash to the finish, still within regulation time, as Goforth leads the field back around for Butcher Gatorade Motorsports. And now the question is, who has enough fuel? They should have enough fuel to make it if this race ends at lap 75. Does anyone take tires, especially if you're at the back here? Do you take tires, just try to pick up a few spots? You won't win the race if you come down and take tires, unless everyone else does. But there's still that strategy. What if you don't think you fueled it up enough? What if you did a splash and go on that final pit stop instead of putting the whole 2 cans of fuel in there? So that's going to be the question that will be answered as they come around this time. But Cody Goforth can taste victory in that 17 car. And he was just maybe 5 laps away from it. And it was 5 laps away for Toyota to just dominate this one. But I know if Goforth comes in, I think everyone else does. I can't say that. It doesn't look like Goforth's coming in, so we'll pause the camera right here, see if anyone does indeed come in, and Goforth's blowing up! No! The leader was on his way to his first victory, and the engine expires on the front straightaway with 5 laps to go. And for the 2nd week in a row, a fantastic race goes up in smoke for the 17 team in what could have been their first victory, and then he spins it out at the end, and he gives up. And that is the end of the day for the driver who was looking for his first career victory today. It's not going to happen for the 17. The NSDCA is going to enforce a quickie yellow. We'll get back to the action here at Auto Club. Bring us back to the action for the restart and the final laps of this LA Times 400 at Auto Club. Possibly the last crash of the day. Max Anderson in the 12 is going to get Lotus Disparito right on his back bumper. Spins him right into the wall, so Disparito getting her caution a bit too late. We're going to go ahead, get you guys back to the action. Back live here at Auto Club for the LA Times 400. We're going to have a 3-lap dash to the finish. SWJ gets his lap back. 1 car a lap down. That's Rose Henson. 2 cars now out of this race. That's Cody Goforth and Ryan Butcher. Heartbreaking for Cody Goforth, who could have won this race for his team's home crowd. And it goes up in smoke in the final laps. But they'll still, Butcher Gatorade Motorsports has a chance with the 55 of Morris out in front. Sebastian Kukulon sits second in the 19. Diego Yepes third. Carson Bowers in fourth, who has not won since his championship campaign 2 years ago in the Truck Series. And Matty Portis sits fifth. Alex Beniaco's charged through the field up to sixth. You got a ton of cars still in this fight. If another caution comes out, then we worry about fuel, but everyone should be fine to go. It's going to be a 3-lap dash to decide the winner of the third race of the season here at Auto Club. Morris Kukulon out in front, trying to win for Toyota. They've had the pace all day, but Yepes has had a fast car to beat. Bowers is a new competitor up front. Same with Curtis. Dusty Neal still in this top 10. Green flags in the air. 3 laps to decide it. 6 miles to go at Auto Club. Morris is going to get the jump away from the field. One car slow at the back. I don't know who that is. That's the 47 of Matthew Eaves, a flat tire on that car. Now Yepes and Bowers are going to be the two fighting for that third position as the top two pull away. That's the 55 and 19. Gone down the front straightaway. If the 47, he has to hope he can make it back to pit road, because if he calls a caution and stops on track, that could be game over for the teams here, and we'll have to go to green-white checkered finish. Morris pulls away. Yepes and Kukulon in hot pursuit as Bowers fights Beniaco for fourth. Bowers has some damage from an incident prior. We'll see if he can finish this race up front, but here comes Kukulon looking for 3 in a row for SBR's 19. No one has ever won 3 in a row until last season. It was Eli Bright. Can Kukulon win it today? Yepes right there in the 77 as well. They're side by side up front. Yepes pushing the 19 past. Coming around next time by, it's going to be the white flag. If a caution comes out on the white flag, the race is over. We do not restack them. As Kukulon makes the move to the race lead, looking to go 3 in a row and be the second ever driver to do so. Morris back on the outside. A big run in the 55. He's going to have the momentum to the top as Yepes in the 77 is going to push him, and he's going to go up and push him. Here comes Bowers in the 25. White flag is out at California. The next flag, next time by, this race will be over. And Morris carries in that outside line. Butcher Gatorade Motorsports has not won at their home track of Auto Club in California ever in their career. And today, the Pennsylvania boys trying to get himself in victory lane. You got Bowers now up to third as Yepes drops to fifth. Curtis trying to fight up there. Bowers and Curtis were so close to wins last year, but I think they're going to come up just short again. Kukulon's going to have one last chance at it. He gets the run through the corner. Does he carry the momentum off the corner? Morris in the 55 leads. No one's going to catch him. And Brandon Morris for Butcher Gatorade Motorsports will win the LA Times 400 at Auto Club. Congratulations to BGM, the fan favorites here by far. The fan favorite team from California wins in California. And it is Brandon Morris putting himself back into a championship hunt in that 55. Kukulon comes up one position short of making it a three-peat out here in LA. But it comes up just short, and the 19, he still comes home second, so he's going to miss maybe, 5 points out of this entire thing, but he's just going to extend that points lead even further over Yepes, who fought hard, comes home P5. Bowers and Curtis out of nowhere at the end. They come up third and fourth. Beniaco up to sixth at the end. Great run there. Hagan ninth. Colton Lane 10th. And the whole field coming down onto the pit road. And it is the 55, the Gatorade Lays Toyota for Butcher Gatorade Motorsports, coming home with the victory after a long, long race today under the sun in California. Well, that was a pretty good race. We had some crashes, but nothing big. That's thankful to see that no one really had a very big incident here at Auto Club like we've seen in the past. And it's a very great weekend for racing and race fans here at Auto Club. Both races, you had a big mix of strategy. You had some upsets. You had a ton of storylines coming in and out of this event. And that is exciting as we are halfway through our West Coast sweep. Next week, we head to our first road course of the season at Willow Springs for the Cup Series and South Boston for the Crown Royal Truck Series. Though Willow Springs coming under scrutiny for their lack of grip down into turn one, let's just say that. So these drivers are going to have to be extra careful maneuvering around that shorter road course out here in the desert of California. Morris takes home the victory in the 55. Cody Goforth, all you can say is heartbreaking. A heartbreaking loss for the 17 team that goes from first to 39th in 5 laps. TSR finishing last both times this weekend. Eli Bright having a horrible season, horrible just year for both series. I think he has 10 points total in both series, in the Cup and Trucks. It's heartbreaking to see for such a promising driver who came off of 3 wins last year, championship run, and that is really not going good for the 8 team. The 33 as well. This is their 3rd week in a row. Something's come up, and they've lost a ton of time and fall to the back. You also had a couple guys fall to the back from those pit stops too, including Foster, Onjack, after that incident with Ryan Butcher earlier. So a lot of stuff happened today, and it will be interesting to see how it affects the point standings, but we still have 15 races to go before we hit the chase, so there's a lot of time left to recover if you've made some mistakes here. But maybe if you're Eli Bright, William Duncan, you're starting to eye up some tracks trying to get a win instead, because it's going to be very hard to point your way into the top 10 now after how this looks. Kukalon now has an average finish of 1.33 on the year, with only another Toyota being the only other driver to stop him this season. BGM and SBR coming out swinging this year in the Sundrop Cup Series. Congratulations to the 55 team. They get to celebrate after their counterpart Cody Goforth blew up on that last restart. A great race under the sun here in California. Hope to see you guys out next week at Willow Springs in South Boston for the Cup and Truck Series. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time on the NSDCA.